Okay, so first of all, I bought this like woman's jumper blanket thing on Amazon, and I haven't been out of it in like 2 days. So is it too much? Or is the diamond hat too much? I could put it down like that, but like a wearable blanket. If anyone hasn't got one of these, forget about all the investment tips and stuff. Not that I give any financial advice, of course, but this is the best thing you can spend your money on. Fact.
Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, coincidence. Something that happens by chance, I think not.
What's the crack, everyone? Welcome back to Buy Wholesale Sell. I hope, of course, you are all well. Today's video is about fear, uncertainty, market crashes, depression, X, Y, and Z. So if you're looking for something cheerful, this is not going to be the video. This is going to require Kleenex tissues. Dry your eyes for this one, guys. Right, here we go. Straight in, hot off the press, less than a day ago, if you go to Yahoo Money, you will see Democrats unveil billionaires tax on unrealized capital gains. For anyone that doesn't know what the hell this means, capital gains is something we pay in the UK, for example. We have an allowance of about 12,000 and a half. Anything over that, you pay capital gains, and it's only normally on the stocks that you sell. So if you hold them, you do not pay any gains tax. So if you have unrealized capital gains, that means you are going to be paying tax on unrealized profits. So just let that sink in, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Democrats want to impose a new tax on America's wealthiest and taxing unrealized capital gains similar to other types of income, a major change to how assets have been taxed historically. Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee introduced legislation on Wednesday requiring taxpayers with more than $1 billion in assets or more than $100 million in annual income for 3 consecutive years to pay taxes on unrealized capital gains. The so-called billionaire's income tax would apply to around 700 taxpayers and raise hundreds of billions of dollars, according to the proposal, which comes as Democrats discuss ways to fund their reconciliation package over the next decade. And for those that don't know how the debt and stuff are doing in America and pretty much across around the world, but let's just focus on America for the old times, let's just have a look at this. So since 1950, we've went along, steady, went along. 08 happened, and then things have just went, and then if you look over the last 10 years, it's went, and pretty much the last 5 years, and then the last year itself, October 20, it's just went skyrocket. For anyone else that likes little graphics like myself, you will see this, the USA debt calculation clock. And this is just going. US national debt is going up and up and up and up and up. Inflation, it tells you about everything, interest on the debt. And ultimately, this thing just goes every day until we explode. Going back to the article, it says it's an important tax advantage that allows wealthy people to continue building their wealth over time. For example, Elon Musk, he gets paid in Tesla shares. He doesn't get paid a wage. So anyone that doesn't know that, you can see where the benefits are coming there. So he is getting paid in shares that are increasing in time, and he's paying no tax. He'll be taking out loans on his assets, and that's just the way things are done, and that's okay. However, what happens if this all comes into play? And they go on then to say, ensure billionaires pay tax every year, and pretty much it's to do with taxing the rich to pay for the issues. And I'm not going to read the article anymore because here's my 2 thoughts. Great idea at a high level. We've serious debt out there, as you can see. That needs paid and needs helped out. This would provide a lot of money. But we've also seen a lot of people not enjoying California and moving to Texas. We've also seen offshore accounts and all of this. All ways to hide money and stop paying tax. So what is to stop all these billionaires just going, right, we've moved to Texas, we're also getting fleeced here, let's just leave and go to Canada. So then what would happen? Would this go into the lower brackets of people because they're no longer the top 700, these billionaires, because they've all shipped off? Who gets hit with the bill then? Also consider this. The Constitution gives Congress the power of levy taxes such as tariffs on commerce. However, it places limitations so-called direct taxes, though the definition of these has long been unclear. The 16th Amendment, which was ratified in 1913, established Congress' right to to impose a federal income tax. Also, on the 20th century Supreme Court ruling upheld the ability of Congress to levy on estate tax. 1913, this all started off as just a way of taxing the rich, and now every single person pretty much pays tax. So who's to say that this wouldn't go and change the future? It really, really scares me as someone that's invested in stock markets. Imagine if the UK incorporated something similar to this. I would have to be paying a lot of money out, now, that I haven't realized yet. So how do you pay this bill with no money, effectively? You have either to take out a loan, you either have to have extra savings, but who really has extra savings? It's all in the stock market, or it should be if you're investing. So it would mean one thing: sell shares. So as I said, Elon Musk owns a hell of a lot of Tesla shares, because that's the way he gets paid instead of getting a wage, okay? Recent article enough, back in April, I just did a quick Google search just to get the idea. It'll make my point. Over 193 million Tesla shares belong to Elon Musk, bringing his net worth to 105 billion. And I probably could get the answer to this, I'm just being lazy, but if we just go to the more recent article, we can now see Elon Musk's fortune soars 36 billion on the back of the Hertz deal. And we scroll down here, you can see he's made a hell of a lot of money this year. That article that I just read previously was in April. So for talk's sake, round figures, let's say he has over 200 million, but let's just say 200 million Tesla shares. It is well over that. And even though the Tesla share is slightly higher, we'll use for round figures, we'll say each share is worth $1,000. Alexa, what's $1,000 times 200 million?
1,000 US dollars times 200 million is 200 billion US dollars.
$200 billion. Let's just say it's 20% tax. Again, it's 23% tax that will have to be realized, but let's go with 20% for lovely round figures. Alexa, what's 20% of 200 billion?
20% of 200 billion is 40 billion. Did that answer your question?
Unfortunately, it did. That's 40 billion pounds Elon needs to find underneath the mattress. I'm not so sure he has that kind of do-re-mi just sitting about. And if you consider that is the case, and he goes, right, what I need to get money here? Well, I might as well sell an old Tesla share. Alexa, what's 200 billion divided by 1,000?
200 billion divided by 1,000 is 200 million.
That's 200 million shares that Elon Musk needs to potentially sell. And again, all the figures I've just used are low balling it. So 200 million shares of Tesla. And that's just one of the 700. You think about the other billionaires that own Tesla shares, and then who owns Amazon shares and Apple and so on and so forth. And again, just jumping on the list, it's an outdated article. The 5 biggest tech companies now make up 17.5% of the S&P 500. And that's not including now Tesla, £1 trillion company. So I believe it's closer to 30% now. So 30% of the S&P is made up of these big stocks, with potential for each billionaire within those stocks to have to sell to be able to pay this bill. What does that mean? It means there is one hell of a gaping potentially coming for everyone in this stock market. And that's not including the Evergrande stuff that's going on. That's not including the fact that housing markets are starting to dip in America. There's at least 10 states now showing that house prices are falling. And we know what happens with the housing market soon after the stock market goes. There is so much fear and uncertainty out there. China issues, FUD, war, nuclear heads flying over us as we speak. Meanwhile, there's the climate issues. You know, our climate and planet is dying. While all at the same time we are trying to, move all our problems to outer space. What a mess is what I'm trying to say, and that is why you have to protect yourself. So look, I don't know if this bill is going to go through. No one knows. My own personal feelings would be it's very highly unlikely that this could possibly go through. We don't know the limitations. Perhaps it'll only be for tax going forward. It's not going to be backdated. We don't know. But it's just to put things like that on people's radar. You have to be extremely careful with the stock market. So up until recently, about 6 weeks ago, I was only a third invested. On the pullback, we did the video, the market crash, the big correction that happened, we A and B'd back in, and now I'm about 2/3 invested maybe closer to 3/4 invested. So I'm quite substantially amount of money in, still got a good bit on the side, but most of my money is in swing trading. And I have moved out the majority of my money on the Tesla stock because of obviously the recent craziness highs. You should definitely be taking some profits on Tesla right now if you have Tesla shares. But yes, I am swinging in and out of things. You know what I've been doing, and I'm using the day charts regularly. I'm trying to do more of those types of videos to keep it simple, let you understand that this is the way you can trade to protect yourself. Don't be holding things for too long. I still have all my long holds in Argo blockchain, in ABML, in Teladoc, which I'll be buying more today following their revenues that came out yesterday that weren't too hot, but in my opinion were still good. You can't be too fearful, but definitely be wary. If you have all your money in the stock market, you really are playing with fire. I would be very, very careful and at least try to keep some money to the side for potential dips. Have your stop losses set. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I think we're still very much in a bit of a bull run. But things like this, if say that got any sort of attention, we know Biden's talked about taxing the rich. We know e-commerce sites are talking about getting taxed more. We know of all these uncertainties, and if any of these things at all get confirmed or get any further down the road, believe me, not only the yield, the deficit, the housing market, all of that, this will be one hell of a gaping, and I'm pretty damn sure we will see this eventually. Can't time anything, so you're still invested in the stock market, but be very, very wary. Anyway, that's the lovely cheery video. I hope you found it informative. If you have like this jumper, you can get it on Amazon. I paid £20 and it is the best thing ever. If I get a lot of hate mail, I maybe don't wear it again, but I mean, look at this. I look really, really big. I'm really not. I'm actually only about 13 stone, believe it or not, but this is like a big cape. So yeah, that's the video. If you have found it informative, please like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. I'll come back with more doom and gloom, I'm sure, on another day. I'll try to keep the rest of the videos positive. Yeah, so trade safely, guys. If you feel like supporting, there's coffee links down there, you know, feel free. You can also get the crypto and free shares as well. Plenty of other links down there, all worth checking out.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
Coincidence.